I'm Deborah Cooper and I stood for the Senedd elections earlier this year in May. And here I am standing on the Northern Meadows again, the glorious Northern Meadows, and still fighting with the community to save this space for our children and our future generations. Air pollution in our cities is damaging our health and the health of our children. Why is it that air pollution around all of our city schools is not being measured? We have a duty to protect our children, but instead Welsh Government are allowing a road and bridge network to be built and wrap around the Corriton school area in an already built up and highly polluted area of North Cardiff. Just by the M4 junction and the main route into Cardiff is the Hollybush estate, and behind that is where the government is planning the building of the Velindre Cancer Centre.
I've got 2 children who go to Corriton Primary School. She's already being treated for asthma, so for me I feel the worry of having the building going on for 4 years, which is really the entirety of their time at the school,
I want to see that.
Is really worrying to me. The air quality and the fact that the school and the council really are dragging their feet on getting the air quality monitor fitted is frustrating.
We walk along the main road to school and back twice every day, and actually walking to school is a nice thing, but with all the vehicles rumbling past it's going to be horrible. We stop and have a picnic in the Lady Corey field, all that's being taken away, and I think the children will really miss that.
Yeah.
Corriton Primary School is just up behind here. There's 2 entrances to it, one off Penderwath Road and one off the estate here. There's also the school at Corey House, which is residential accommodation for children with severe autism. They're going to be noise constantly, and that will have a massively detrimental effect. They also use the meadows and use the old gardens and the railway line, as do the primary school. That presumably would have to stop. And I have been asking for answers to the question as to what will happen to the pathways that come out of Hollybush Estate that run along the top of the railway line. And I've had no response as to what is going to happen to these footpaths that we make so much use of and the children use so much to be safe.
I walk my dog over here at least every day. It's beautiful, it's green, it's really a lovely wholesome area. My husband died 8 years ago with dementia, and without walking in these fields and around these paths, I really don't know what I would have done. So it's really been a lifesaver to me.
The majority of people that live here, probably over 70%, do not have access to their own outdoor space at all. So, you've got older people, people with mobility issues, people with young children, pregnant people. We have some little green spaces and we're working on garden areas on the estate. But that's not nature, that's not getting out and escaping and having freedom, which is what the meadow gives to people here.
I moved to Canton in Cardiff about 30 years ago, and didn't even know of the existence of the Northern Meadows until I went on a march to save them. And I was struck by the wonder of the Meadows area, its space, its beauty, its quietness, its solitude, its wildness. I don't want it paved over.
We're here today to highlight the importance of this space. We know that the green spaces are important for community cohesion and for mental and physical health. We know that going outside and doing exercise can have almost a similar impact to antidepressants in some instances. And so having these green spaces is so important so that we can actually get out. But we see across Cardiff that these spaces are not only being destroyed in the name of development, but communities who use them are not able to engage in the process or have their voices heard in a sustainable way.
Last year, it was absolutely wonderful to see the increasing numbers of people discovering it, not realising what was on their doorstep before that, and getting out and cycling and walking and flying kites and building dens. To take it away would just be cruel.
When my husband was at the later stages of dementia, I just used to put my head down and walk around here. Sometimes I didn't even know where I was walking. It's been really vital to me. It's beautiful in the summer, the birds sing, you can just walk, feel the sunshine, you smell the lime trees as you walk under them. It's just amazing.
Medical questions are, to my mind,
arisen around the whole New Velindre project. Just recently, a letter has surfaced that was written in November 2020, which has shown us 7 eminent professors condemning the kind of cancer centre that New Velindre is going to put up. New Velindre is saying, or the Velindre project team is saying, well, that was looked at during the Nuffield advice. Not a review, by the way, just advice. And it was talked about, and so it's all been dealt with. Not at all. It may have been seen, but it had nothing to do with the agenda of the Nuffield advice team when they came to look. So it's still condemned by the views of these professors. And Velindre itself has truly defied this advice of top world-class professors by putting up and proposing the idea of a standalone cancer centre. Not only have they defied that group of distinguished people, but they have defied the very advice that Nuffield itself gave.
I've recently been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and so desperately want Wales to have world-leading cancer treatment. Part of my treatment is being able to walk through this beautiful space, and it serves a similar function for innumerable people.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2018. I had my treatment at Landock Breast Centre, absolutely amazing place, and then I was sent, following surgery and diagnosis, to Velindre Hospital for chemotherapy and radiotherapy. I'm still on treatment, although I'm not a patient of Velindre anymore, but I'm still on chemical treatment for that continuing risk of breast cancer. And a few months after I moved in, I then discovered the Meadows, and then my mum actually told me that this was where it was going to be built, and I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't fathom that this space was going to be used, and heartbreaking and really difficult that it was the hospital that had treated me so wonderfully.
In Wales, we have some legislation which is supposed to look after communities and the environment. These acts are supposed to empower communities and empower councils to look after their well-being and to be sustainable in their decision-making whilst protecting the environment. We need this legislation to apply now and not in 10 years' time.
We need a Welsh Government that is honest with its citizens. We need councillors that act in the best interests of its citizens. Councillors who really care about each and every one of us. A government that measures success by how healthy and how well cared for our citizens are. We need a wellbeing economy. And this is at the heart of the Green Party's message to you, the voter.